Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my Lotus Esprit restoration project. Now, it's been a while, been about a year in fact since I last did a video on this car, and actually that is the last video I did on my channel as well, so very quiet on my hobby front and all the usual excuses of family life and work and that kind of thing, time being sort of a precious commodity. I haven't really done that much, but recently I have got back to the Esprit and started doing a few odd jobs, but I didn't record an introduction. So what I'll do is I'll catch you up on what I've done recently on this car so you get up to date for now, and then we'll progress into some other stuff that we'll get on with.
So after getting the engine out last year, I was left with a whole load of hoses and pipes in the engine bay and things that ran through the chassis to the front of the car. So the first step was to start methodically removing these. They're all held in with a load of Jubilee clips, so it was just a case of either undoing those or cutting them off as needed. On some occasions hoses needed to be cut, but as I'm not reusing them, I didn't mind too much. There goes the expansion tank. I was then able to pull the water pipes through the chassis. Some of them contained funny looking white powder. There was so much of this in fact, I thought maybe I've got the Pablo Escobar special edition. One of the water pipes has to come out the front of the chassis, so a little bit of bike rearranging was needed. Once the bike was out of the way, the pipe came out fine. Next up was the fuel filter and pump. There were some hoses that were still connected to the chassis there. And then I moved on to the oil cooler and fittings. If you remember from my engine removal video, I'd given up trying to take this out because it was so hard, and in the meantime it hadn't become any looser. As I'm not using the oil cooler or the hoses again, I did just think perhaps it was easier just to cut through the hoses. I do want to try and save the oil filter adapter metal bit on the ends though, so I'll still have to revisit this later. The oil cooler radiator itself came off fine, it was just the hose fittings that were stuck. There was a rogue engine mount that I also needed to remove. I then moved on to the gear lever and the linkages that were still attached to it. A couple of roll pins removed one part of the linkage, a few bolts to remove the lever from the chassis, and then a further bolt to undo the final bit of the linkage. Now, what you can't see me doing here is putting the adjuster nuts back onto the linkage that I took off first of all, just so I put them back into the right place on the thread. Apparently it's quite hard to get it right when you refit it. I then just undid a bolt for the sort of pivot point of the other linkage so I could remove it.
So as you can see, I've done a few things, just tidying up the chassis, getting some of the bits out of it. And the next step is to move on to taking the suspension off, as well as the steering rack and other bits and pieces. I still have the clutch pipe and the brake lines attached to the car, and I'll just do that at the end because I want to kind of take some photos of where the brake lines go, how they attach, etc. But yeah, suspension off, and then we'll be more or less back to the bare chassis. And this could be the year that I stop taking this car apart and start putting things back together if I can get the chassis sent off somewhere and either restored or a replacement chassis ordered if that's what it takes. So yeah, exciting times. Let's get stuck in.
So the first thing to do was to jack the car up and remove the wheels. As I was doing this, I realised this was the first time I'd removed the wheels in my ownership of the car. They came off fine, thankfully. I wanted to remove the steering rack first, so I undid the ball joints from the hubs, then undid the 4 bolts holding the steering rack to the chassis, and then it came away. Next up, I tried to free off the anti-roll bar. The bolts came off fine from the arms and the front part of the chassis there. But the anti-roll bar itself was stuck in the arms by the rubber bushes, so I thought I'd leave that and come back to it later. So I then decided to try and remove the shock. The bottom bolt of the shock came out fine, but the top mount was really stiff, and actually the nut sheared off when I tried to undo it, and eventually I had to cut off the top part of the shock. Next, I undid the bolts holding the hub to the wishbone. And then freed off the brake line, being careful not to bend and damage the bracket too much. It's made of quite a flimsy strip of metal. With the hub released from the wishbone, I could then get the spring out. It was in multiple pieces. The wishbone mounting bolt was next. This was quite tricky to get out, with a bit of force needed to remove it, but eventually managed to come free. Then all that was left was the bottom arm to come off. The other side was much the same, with stiff wishbone bolts, broken springs, and a shock absorber that needed cutting off. To remove the anti-roll bar, in the end I resorted to heating up the rubber bushes, and then the anti-roll bar popped out of the arms there. Hopefully no damage done. And that was the front suspension out. Moving on to the rear, I compressed the springs and then had a look at trying to take the bottom bolt of the shock absorber that runs through the rear hub apart. But as I was doing this, I thought, if I could get this whole thing off in one unit, I could just take out the top bolts of the shock absorber, and where the radius arm meets the body, I could keep the whole rear suspension more or less intact and then have a look at it later, which is what I did. So moving on to the radius arm mounting bolt, I was being very careful to keep all the little bits in the right order as they came out, including the shims that were there, and then reassembling it back onto the radius arm so I could keep track of how it went. Then once that side was done, the other side was a lot easier as I kind of knew the procedure that I'd followed before. And that was the rear suspension removed from the car.
So there we go then, the Lotus chassis pretty much stripped of everything with just a couple of little bits left, the clutch pipe and the brake lines, which I mentioned a bit earlier, just because I want to take a bit of care over those, take some photos, so I've got something to refer to when I come to sort of bend new brake pipes into the right shape and that kind of thing. But yeah, super exciting stuff, because it means that the chassis is almost ready to go and get sort of blasted, and then we can inspect it a bit for any sort of work that needs to be done to repair it at all. But on first impressions, it does look pretty straight. There's no significant corrosion that kind of makes holes in it or anything like that, and the panels are pretty much dent free. There are a couple of little tiny little bits, but nothing that will stop it from, you know, being a chassis. And I know as many of you who watch this will be following George from Soup's progress on his Esprit, and you'll know that he spent a lot of time on his chassis repairing it because of various holes and things and some grot that had got into certain panels and that sort of stuff. And although this on the face of it looks like it's in quite bad condition with the surface rust, I think that hopefully is kind of the limit of it. I don't think there's actually any damage as such, so I'm really hoping that there's minimal work required after sort of getting the rust off and priming it and that sort of thing, but we'll just have to see. I can't tell at the moment really with all the grot that's on there. So yeah, that'll be the next video, and I hope you'll join me in watching that whenever I get round to it. But thank you so much for watching this one, and I'm hopefully going to be back again soon with another video. See you later. Bye.